we got the Faze stuff. Before that, we could talk about the Adin Ross shit too, because I covered it yesterday. But Adin Ross rants on HasanAbi after Hasan made fun of Adin's political takes and couldn't pronounce Palestine correctly. Adin believes Hasan should be banned from entering America. Full recap. I don't understand how you aren't in jail. I can see you removed your dog from the streams. You are literally garbage. You hate America, but yet you live here. Speed also mispronounced Palestine. No, Speed didn't mispronounce Palestine. When Speed says free Palestine, that's not a mispronunciation at all. He's actually saying it correctly. That's so funny that he thought that was a mispronunciation. You won't call him out because he is the biggest thing in the world, in this world. I know you and your mods have off-stream talks about on hating on America. You should move to China, and I wish they ban you from here. I don't even know if I want to watch 5 minutes of this fucking rant. What an articulate young man he is. Yeah, me and my mods, we get together off stream and we plot. Listen, all I'm going to say is this, okay? All I'm going to say is this. There's a lot of content creators who simply treat politics for the vibes, okay? There are a lot of content creators who look at politics like it's just a team sport or vibes or for clout. And if Donald Trump is going to give you clout, you lean into it, right? And then when your fans turn around and say, why the fuck did you push for this, right? Why would you push for Trump to be president? Look how terrible everything is. He's trying to get the hate on you so people stop hating on him about the Rams players thing he did. No, it's not even about the Rams player, the Puka Nakua, greedy merchant memes that he was trying to get Puka to do. It's just in general, like, I think that like a lot of people are souring. A lot of the youth have completely checked out of the Trump train. They were first to go, understandably. They were also the first to like not really care about anything and vote for him because they thought, young men in particular, they thought maybe it'll be a change of pace in a positive and move the country in a positive direction. They believed it, right? And it was dumb. And it was partially because of people like Adin Ross, right? And they fell for it. And then they started yelling at Adin Ross. And then he had to be like, oh, I'm done with this politics stuff, gang. And the irony of it all is that like they also did it for, I mean, Adin was doing this for Israel too. And I even said, like, there is probably a little bit more, like, I'm more understanding of someone like Adin Ross being pro-Israel first and foremost, because like probably it's something, it's like learned behavior. It's something that he learned in his family, you know what I mean? Something he learned in his upbringing where he was like, oh yeah, this is important. And now he's like pulling the ripcord on both Trump and Israel. But it's so crazy to me that in the process of doing so, he's still continuing to be like, you should get deported. You hate America. You should get deported. You fucking hate America, and you hate Israel, I guess. He has to hate on Israel because he's surrounded by Nazis now. Yeah, I mean, it's not just that. I think it's also because like the culture has soured so much on Israel, especially over the last 2 years, that it's virtually impossible for these guys to continue defending Israel, even if that's their personal perspective, or even if that was their opinion in the beginning.
On to this loser. Let me see.
He was definitely pro-Israel initially. Like, he would have a hard time.
I was never pro-Israel originally, but okay.
Cap. Yeah. He wasn't pro-Trump either. He wasn't pro-Israel. He wasn't pro-Trump. I mean, there are many instances. That's how I found out he was Jewish. Yeah, when Trump was like, you're Jewish, right? You like Israel, don't you? Like your people. And Adin was like, yeah, on God, I fuck with Israel. If you remember, like...
You're talking about 2022, before anybody was saying it, I was saying it. Speed didn't even know the meaning of it, Hasan. Hasan, you are such a fucking pussy, bro. I don't know how you're not in jail. I don't know why nobody's called PETA. I can see you don't have your dog anymore in this bed because you're a fucking abuser, in my opinion, allegedly.
You're a fucking abuser, in my opinion, allegedly. Also, I do think it's funny that he thinks like this is the funniest aspect of this conspiracy, like Shocktober 7, Dogtober 7, is that like even if I was using Even if I was like zapping Kaya with a shot collar, like the government is gonna come and be like, I can't believe you're doing this.
You're just a horrible human. People can say what the fuck they want to say about me, but you are a piece of shit. You're literally garbage. You are. You hate America, but yet you live here, right? It's just sad, man.
When he would have conversations with like Speed, where Speed would say like "Free Palestine."
Okay, so why not come at Speed for not knowing what Palestine was at the time either? He said
he did. No, that's actually, if you were smart enough to understand, I was saying Speed knew what Palestine was. True, you're a piece of shit. Yeah, it's true. I like that for a lot of people, this won't be like a wake-up call for them. They'll be like, Adin Ross is so fucking stupid. I hate Adin Ross. And then they'll turn around and Adin Ross will be like, oh, Hasan is a piece of shit. And they'll be like, true. Oh my God, I'm agreeing with Adin Ross. I can't believe he's right. I can't believe how right Adin Ross is. And it's like, yeah, that should maybe be a cause for concern, you know? They'll be like, yo, I don't really fuck with this Hitler guy, but this Adolf Hitler guy, well, he really hated Stalin. So maybe he was right about that. Was he?
Palestine. He didn't even know either. You're just a dick sucker. You won't do it because Speed's the biggest thing in the world.
No. This is what I was talking about. Like there were many moments like this. Look,
Israel. I thought it was free Palestine. The hell?
Well, you know, Speed, I'm Jewish, so I'm from Israel.
Really?
I think you mean Speed was saying Palestine wrong. Yeah, I wasn't saying that Speed was saying Palestine wrong. Free Palestine is like Philistine is how you say it. Is actually how you say it in like he's saying it in the correct way, in the Arabic pronunciation. He's saying it in the OG way. So not only is he right, but he's even more right than you think. Adin Ross thinks saying Free Palestine is saying it the wrong way. That's not the case at all.
Well, my descent is Israel. I'm Jewish.
Free Palestine, Adin?
Speed, we're not going to go into that political debate, but relax.
Everybody keeps saying free.
And the thing is, like, I've maintained this position, and people have yelled at me for this, but like, I think Adin is too stupid to like actually have a real political opinion. I've said this many times over, right? Like, I don't think he has like any sort of genuine thought behind anything. I think he's just a clout goblin. So it's not, you know, he's not doing this stuff to be like, yeah, I see a ideological commitment to fascism, and that's why I'm doing it. Like, I have an ideological commitment to fascism because I think we need to build an ethno-state in Israel and build an ethno-state in America. Like, that's not the case at all. He's just kind of hearing things and then repeating it like a child. But then also on top of that, he probably has you know, certain, I mean, he has a much better way of reading the room than even the likes of, you know, Dave Portnoy. Because the reason why I was talking about this yesterday was because Adin Ross and Dave Portnoy were having this like private conversation. They were texting one another, and Adin was coming across as like morally consistent. That's what I said. Like, Adin Ross was actually destroying Dave Portnoy in a private debate because he was saying that he's pro-Palestine and Dave is not, right? And it's true. If both of these guys are exactly the same, but one is pro-Palestine and the other is anti-Palestine, then yes, the pro-Palestine person is going to be correct, regardless of what their reasoning is.
You're a dick sucker. I got Trump on stream. You can't get nobody on stream. You suck. And you're like 10 years old.
I got Trump on stream. You can't get nobody on stream. Again, clout. Why the fuck would Trump come on my stream? He won't acknowledge you giving him props where they're due because his commitment isn't to being right about Palestine. When it comes to you, it's strictly about hating you and farming the hate. Yes. Adin holds the grudge from Steak. That's it. Of course, he is. He's never going to turn around and be like, Hasan was right. You know, my bad, my mistake. Of course, all the kick streamers are always going to permanently find a way to be like, I agree with Hasan now on a lot of the stuff, but actually I still fucking hate his ass. But with someone like Adin Ross, like, you can't even have a conversation with him. You can't be like, oh, I mean, what do you think about Zoran Mamdani, for example? He's not gonna have any fucking consistent position on Zoran Mamdani. You know what I mean?
Me, bro, and you hate America, clown.
And Adin would try to be like, you know, try to defend Israel a little bit. And that was even before October 7th. Adin was hyping him up in the stream, and he asked him if he was pro-Israel, and he was like, yeah, of course.
This Israel, you're Jewish. Are you a fan of Israel?
Yeah. You got me there.
So he's admitting his commitment to clout chasing has been the main agenda. Having Trump on your stream isn't the own he thinks it is. Yeah, exactly. Guys, stop mentioning all the politicians I've had on stream. That it doesn't mean anything. I'm not trying to like intellectually dismantle Adin Ross's argument here. Yes, of course I've had plenty of fucking politicians on the stream. That's not the point. For him, he's like, who's the biggest politician? Donald Trump, right? Who's the most clouded politician? Because he's not looking at this as, remember, from his perspective, this is not about like achieving policy goals. He doesn't have a fucking policy agenda in mind. He doesn't give a shit. He's looking at it as clout. Okay, that's it.
Look how this terrorist treats his animals.
If you run right now, I'll fucking kill you. Like, I'll act.
I mean, guys, this guy is not in America. He's a terrorist. Guys, why are we so...
Like, he has like clips of clips on deck of me from 10 fucking years ago. I don't even know this clip existed on the internet. And it doesn't even fucking matter. He's just like, oh, look at him. Like, this is my dead dog, okay? This is Fish. For all the newcomers, my dog Fish, my first ever dog that I had, that I adopted, that was left in a tire store, okay, who I raised, who unfortunately passed away during COVID. It was devastating, and that was the reason why I didn't adopt another dog for many years. And he's like, oh, I can't believe it. He's like such a dog abuser. It's like, okay, dude. Which, once again, utterly irrelevant to the main point of contention here. Like, it's like we moved on from him. We moved on from him talking about Israel and defending Israel to like
allegedly, in my opinion, terrorism, women beaters, bestiality. In my opinion, not saying this guy, but that's just my cup of tea.
Actually kill you, okay? In front of everyone.
How did I know that without even knowing this clip? How did I know that? You're born to be violent. Shame on people who want to fuck with this guy.
Stated that he was pro-Israel until like recently, right?
Wow. Yes, bro. I'm educated on the topic, Hasan. I'm very educated on the topic now. I'll tell you what, Hasan. I will take a course to fully understand the history of Palestine.
Great.
If you could take a course how to treat an animal properly.
Fucking awesome. Let's do it. I love that. Especially considering that not only did I learn a lot from raising fish and didn't have like I wasn't as experienced, but I am certainly a lot more experienced now. Yeah, that sounds great. I love the notion that like not only do these guys run with the fact that I'm abusing Kaya, but they have no concept of like how to raise an animal or a dog or how to train a dog at all, not realizing that Kaya is not only one of the best taken care of dogs of all time, incredibly spoiled, but also is very good, like really fucking well trained. So yeah, great. I'll take another course on how to treat animals. Let's take a look at what Brother Banks had to say.
Merry Christmas. From Banks, formerly known as Faze Banks. What a fucking terrible day.
What a
terrible year. I left Faze 5 months ago. And this wasn't for a narrative. This wasn't for the camera. This wasn't for Twitter. This was very, very real. It was off the heels of some Twitter drama, and the boys were, you know, getting blown up in their comms and in their chats. And as we all know, in this world, wacky, strange world of streaming, that's really all that matters. These streamers, all of them, Every last one of them are forced to appeal to their comms and their chats and narratives on Twitter. And if they don't, they lose viewers. If they don't, they take a hit financially to their career. And this has a huge effect on who their friends are, who they're in relationships with, all of it, everything. The way they treat each other online is completely 100% based and rooted in the feedback that they get in real time from chats and comms. So again, as somebody, an old man, 34 years old, you guys never let me forget it.
Okay, it's not that old, man. Chill. You know, there are some of us who are also 34 years old.
Who no longer makes content, who doesn't have a stream, who doesn't have his own platform. It's impossible for me to create a narrative or control my narrative or really respond. Not that I really give a fuck to anyways, but yeah, all this drama is created, and we get on a call 5 months ago and the guys are like, listen, we're over the drama. We think it's best if you just like publicly step down from Faze, just to cool down the drama online. I reacted very emotionally to this. I was obviously took it very personally and was offended because, again, I used my entire network, every dollar that I've ever made, everything that I've ever had, this brand that I built, I used all of it as leverage to start these guys as a content group and to kick this shit off with the sole goal and intent to bring Faze back to the top, which we did. We did that all collectively. Over the last 2 years, Faze has won Org of the Year twice. And yeah, I was the first guy in the room. These guys would have never lived in a house together if it wasn't for me. These guys are all at minimum 10 times the size in terms of audience and platform now as before they joined Faze. These guys have all made millions and millions and millions of dollars in the last 2 years, and none of them could ever dispute the fact. Max just said it himself on his stream. Joining Faze was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. I've heard that from Lacey. I've heard it from Silky. I've heard it from Jason. I've heard it from Ron. I've heard it from Adapt. I've heard it from every single person that's ever joined Faze, specifically these guys. And I'm here to tell you, as former Faze Banks, this was one of the worst decisions I've ever made in my entire life.
So, there is some, I mean, like joining Faze and like creating a content group, going under the banner of Faze was a mutually beneficial situation because Faze was in the shitter as a brand, right? And all of the new talent that they brought on, who were obviously very talented in their own way, was able to revitalize the brand. But it's crazy to say that it was because of Faze that these guys were able to pop off. Like, it was their own talent, right? It was their own talent. It was their own timing, comedic timing. It was their own entertainment that they were creating. It was the friendships that they made. Like, it's not like these guys were tiny content creators either before they joined Faze. They were up there. They were nowhere near as big as they are now, but they were certainly having a blow up. Yeah, Jason had 9K average viewers before Faze because he was collabing with Cutie and others, Law, so he was already big. Ron had also, like, these guys had basically mastered the like the TikTok clip feeding back to your live stream meta even before they joined Faze, right? So you're just gonna glaze them? What? First of all, yes, I am gonna glaze them. I think they did a great job, and I've always said that they've done a great job, and I will continue saying that. So yeah. Jason averaged 3K. He met Cutie after Faze. No, that's not true. Jason did not meet Cutie after Faze. You're fucking wrong. Cutie Cinderella literally had Jason the Ween on to do Feliz Navidad in her like Christmas stream 2 fucking years ago. So no, you're just wrong. And this isn't even like lore in general. Okay, this is just things that I personally fucking experienced with my friends and coworkers and peers. So it's kind of funny to come here and tell me this shit. That was before he ever got on Faze. So in any case, you don't watch Twitch though. I don't know. I trust your information. That's true. I don't really watch Twitch. So you're not wrong about that, but I do know these people. So, oh my God, this guy's still complaining about the fucking, the fact that I'm still covering this. Anyway, so they brought these guys who were already building their own audiences, who already had a pretty decent understanding of how to make content, right? And you know, it was the connective tissue. Like being under the Faze banner certainly brought them together. So there was definitely some investment there. Okay, there was definitely some investment there. But to say that this was just because, just because of Faze would be wrong. Okay, it was mutually beneficial for sure, but at the end of the day, Faze as an organization needed the talent more than the talent needed Faze. And that's precisely what has happened now. That now they have no talent left because they all left one by one at the same time. And that's the reason why this is newsworthy. And I think the problem here, is the additional demands that they were making on the organization side in order to justify the revenues that they were not generating. So they wanted to generate those revenues off of the content creators and the revenues that they were generating themselves, right? Like their subscriptions, for example. And when you actually demand money from the individual content creators, like from their own subscriptions or from their own revenue that they're generating on their YouTube pages or their TikTok or whatever the fuck, it's just not going to work. Of course, they're going to be like, nah, that's not happening. Okay? And I think that ultimately, this is what it comes down to. Look, see, he says these guys had free housing, free filmers and staff, all Faze channels, 0% income shared. Their money and platforms all skyrocketed after meeting me, but I'm the bad guy. None of it makes sense. And like I said above, I'm going to get into all the details tomorrow. The thing is, like, even if you actually hired the initial cameraman and stuff, right? Even if you hired the initial cameraman and stuff, this is one of the only parts of a labor corporate structure that genuinely benefits the labor side, because the labor side has way more salience and is in front of people. So partially the reason why I'm talking about this is because you can't have a similar issue like this in a regular workplace where people immediately understand, because they don't have a fucking parasocial relationship with like the delivery drivers, okay, that are delivering your fucking packages. But they do have a parasocial relationship with the content creators. So they automatically understand that Faze is nothing without the content creators. They're not as replaceable as your bosses in your regular ass fucking workplace will have you feel like you are replaceable. Okay?
United States forces have launched missile strikes.
We're going to talk about the Islamic State, but this time not in the Levant or Iraq and Syria, but this time the Islamic State in Africa.
Against the Islamic State group in northwest Nigeria, US Africa Command said they were carried out in coordination with the Nigerian authorities and killed what it called multiple IS terrorists in Sokoto State. Nigeria says it was involved in the planning of the operation, and the US military posted a video showing a missile being launched from a naval vessel. On social media, President Trump described the Islamic State group as terrorist scum and accused the group of targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians. While speaking to the BBC World Service, the Nigerian foreign minister defended the military action.
What I can confirm is a joint operation between Nigeria and the US that has targeted terrorists. It has nothing to do with a particular religion. It is, as far as we're concerned, targeting terrorists that have been attacking Nigerians, period. So it has nothing to do with one religion or another. And nor does it have anything to do with Christmas. It could be any other day. It is to do with attacking terrorists that have been killing Nigerians.
Well, our reporter in Lagos, Magochi Okafor, is following developments.
The US has confirmed, even the Nigerian government has confirmed a joint attack in the northwest part of Nigeria, specifically Sokoto State. Now, over the years, for more than a decade, Nigeria has been battling insurgencies, specifically from armed groups and jihadist groups. In November, the US president did say that there was potential that he was going to go in guns a-blazing and carry out strikes potentially in Nigeria. But now we have...
It's so funny that they literally, the Nigerian government's like, oh yeah, no, this was totally, we totally also wanted this. The fuck are they supposed to say in the situation? Of course they have to fucking play ball. It's Nigeria. You know? Also, I'm not oblivious. Another major oil country. Now, the thing is, ISIS, I think one could say ISIS is, and the Islamic State in general is a Western intelligence-backed operation for the most part, and it's very interesting to see its operations have moved away from the Levant in the region of the Middle East, where Israel has dominated virtually every single country that ISIS was in operation on. ISIS was in operation over, and now they are moving and have been moving to Africa. Okay, they've been moving for a long time. I thought Trump beat ISIS. Yeah, I mean, I guess not. Now, the thing about ISIS is that it just happens to work anywhere where America has any interest in destabilizing or any interest in having control over, because all of a sudden you have these like Salafist groups, you have these Wahhabist groups that are wreaking havoc in a country that does not have the organizational tools or the weapons to be able to just like overcome consistent acts of terror, right? So they have to rely on American military deployment to take care of the problem. Or they happen to operate in a lot of these places. Pure coincidence, by the way. ISIS happens to operate in a lot of places where you have a competitor, another foreign country that also is sending in or deploying their own private military contractors, for example, like the Wagner Group, or countries that have stronger relationships with an American foreign adversary like China. Okay. And of course, as is the case, usually with ISIS, the victims are rarely ever Westerners. Now, are there lone wolf attacks that are conducted in the West? Absolutely. But for the most part, the wide majority of the victims are oftentimes either Muslim or Arab themselves, Arab of like different religious background. But the bulk of the ISIS deaths, the bulk of the people that ISIS kills will always be and has always been, not Israel, for example, which is right fucking there, but Muslims, Yazidis, people of Arab descent. And I suspect that the same issues take place in the African continent where ISIS is operating as well. ISIS USA backed is a crazy take. Is it? Saying that ISIS is USA backed is a crazy take. Yeah, it's a fucking crazy take if you don't follow or pay close attention to what the fuck's going on. The fuck do you mean? It's not a direct involvement, okay? The American government is not going to directly involve themselves with ISIS, but they will fund the countries that are then directly involving themselves with ISIS, whether it be Turkey. That was a huge fucking deal a couple of years ago. The guy who actually uncovered the relationship between ISIS and Turkey, even though ISIS literally blows up shit in Turkey as well, by the way. Just remember, Who do you think is responsible for that partnership? Do you think Turkey was doing it on their own? Fuck no. Of course not. Turkey's doing that for America as a NATO country. I mean, the guy who branched off of ISIS, like literally branched off of ISIS, is now the president of Syria. What the fuck do you think happened there? How do you think that happened? You think you had a come to Jesus moment? This isn't sound analysis. ISIS is a label. There's little to no crossover or real communication between the ISIS in the Sahel and the ISIS in the Middle East or Afghanistan. It's an affiliation by announcement, not organization. There's no evidence so far that the Sahel groups are U.S. backed. I'm not, but notice how you're not saying that there isn't U.S. backing with the ISIS operations in the Middle East. I think you and I both agree and understand that there is U.S. backing, or at least secondary U.S. backing, U.S. allies backing, and offering logistical support to ISIS in the Middle East. I'm simply stating that there is some evidence of that, yeah, especially via intelligence, yes. So, if that's the case in the Middle East, don't you think that it's a little suspicious that a similar relationship might also exist in Africa as well? But the Sahel security situation is extremely different from the Middle East. I'm just saying it's always strange that ISIS rears its ugly head anywhere where America has to intervene. And it's not like America has not intervened or at the behest of Western capital in the past in Nigeria. They quite literally did do that when I believe it was Shell. I believe it was the Shell Corporation, when they couldn't get a decent contract, or the kind of contract that they wanted from the American government, actually directly activated tribal leadership and caused similar acts of terrorism. But this ISIS and that ISIS are totally different situations. The Sahel ISIS affiliated institutions have been here for over a decade. I'm just saying that there's a pattern there, and it's one that actually still favors American intervention. Although the Islamic State is not directly affiliated to the Islamic State in the Levant or in Iraq and Syria, I think that the relationship, eventually, we will find out, is not that dissimilar. Let's get to Zelensky.
Closer. A Ukrainian official telling ABC this morning that the presidents will meet on Sunday in Florida. The White House yet to confirm the meeting, but it comes just days after Zelensky said he is ready to pull troops back from the areas of Ukraine's eastern Donbass region that it still controls and turn them into demilitarized zones. And that is significant. The furthest he has gone in compromising on Vladimir Putin's most difficult demand, that Ukraine surrender all of the Donbass. Now, President Trump's top negotiator Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner spoke by phone with Zelensky on Christmas Day yesterday, again discussing security guarantees for Ukraine. But the problem is there is still no sign that Vladimir Putin is actually ready to accept this new peace proposal. The Kremlin is almost certain to reject Zelensky's condition that Russia also pull back from the demilitarized zones. And the reality is that it's still very hard to see a deal being reached yet. Will?
Still a long way to go. Patrick Reevell in London for us. Thank you.
Give us a good one.
Oh, this was fucking crazy. Okay. Joe Rogan and Shane Gillis did a pod. And in the podcast, Shane Gillis, I think, jokingly refers to Nick Fuentes as the next president. And Joe Rogan, not so jokingly, jumps on the statement as a, great idea. Where is it? Hold on. Let me see if Gillis gives a shocking example as a joke. Rogan takes it completely sincerely and goes on a diatribe about groyperism. And the internet comes away thinking Shane is a Christian nationalist. This is a perfect distillation of Joe Rogan. He fundamentally misunderstands comedic instincts, soapboxes about how he's a victim, and somehow still shapes the narrative via pure art. Oh, that scared me. I thought she was throwing up. Via pure R-wordation, he controls reality. Now, I don't know if it's a joke or not. So we'll see. But I did see this clip.
War. You'd think we'd have more presidents. The Catholics.
Yeah, they only had one.
Biden,
right?
too.
Oh, Biden's Catholic.
We got Biden.
Allegedly.
True. We only got one. They got
allegedly. Yeah, Biden's not a real Catholic.
Shot. And then Biden was doing auto sign. Give us a good one.
Yeah. You got anybody in mind?
Fuentes.
Nick Fuentes? He could probably win in a few years.
Hold on, let's talk.
Listen, he couldn't have existed before, right? 10, 20 years ago, couldn't have existed. Now, super popular. What's 20 years from now look like? You know, maybe someone like that can win.
Well, we'll see.
Fuck Shane for that, bro. He's like clearly laughing. He's like, "Yeah, Nick Fuentes, wouldn't that be crazy?" And Joe's like, "Actually, yeah." Like, what do you mean? Like, Shane Gillis brings it up as like, how funny would that be? And then Joe's like, "No, actually, that's good. That's actually a good idea. We should do that."
I gotta pee so bad. We gotta wrap this up anyway.
I'm
sorry,
down.
4:18.
We got that one at the buzzer.
Yeah. Well, listen, I will say this about it. It's fascinating.
I like that instead of wrapping it up, he's like, "Let me talk about it a little bit further, just so people do not mistake my fascination with Nick Fuentes as me going along with what Shane presented as like a possible threat to American democracy. Let me explain to you how I mean it."
Watch that. There's like a whole group of people that feel very unrepresented in the world, and especially like young men. And here you got this young guy with a very high verbal IQ, and he also does a lot of shit posting, a lot of talking shit, a lot of trolling. Says women shouldn't be allowed to vote. Says wild shit. And that Piers Morgan thing is like, bro, that was like an expert sparring with someone who thought they were an expert.
Sure.
Like they're playing two totally different games.
And it's also the thing that people try to get Fuentes on is that he's still funny as fuck.
It's funny.
So that's where you're in a lot of trouble.
When he hits him, do you think you made jokes about the Holocaust? He goes, too soon? Like, dude.
Yeah.
And you could see
he's wild.
You could see Piers going, "Oh fuck,
bro." When he was like, "Me mom died," I was like, "Holy shit,
bro!" He got hit. He got hit with a missile on that one.
Before people go, "Oh my God, how are they saying this?" For the record, Nick Fuentes is not trolling when he says that shit. But you have to understand, most people don't have the same social investment that you do towards like being tolerant to marginalized groups, okay? You need to understand this. You need to snap out of your bubble. It's the same with like people who make fucking George Floyd jokes over and over again. I don't think that shit's funny at all. Okay? I don't think that shit's funny at fucking all. And yet, according to some of the dumbest fucking right-wingers on the planet, it's all the laughs, okay? It's the most funny thing that they've ever encountered. And bro, stop defending Shane already. Come on. There's no defense of Shane Gillis here at all. I'm simply explaining to you what is going on in the fucking world, okay? What is going on in America? A big part of the reason why this is now considered another thing to laugh about is partially because the right wing totally fucking dominated. The right wing totally dominated the whole like, oh, the left is being annoying woke scolds over and over and over again. They nonstop hammered that point over and over and over again, while they were also being annoying woke scolds themselves. But they were able to successfully make this like the left's, self-identified movement. And ironically enough, a lot of people on the left did contribute to this because they were like, yeah, no, we are woke scolds actually. And a lot of people on the left also do present this as like their number one issue. Right wingers don't do that. They complain all the fucking time, but then when called into question whether or not they're being woke scolds, they go, "Oh, how dare you? No, of course not. We're not woke scolds at all. We would never do that." Liberals don't do that. Rad libs, liberals, leftists, we love adopting that framing and adopting that identity. We don't even want to lie about it. At least the right wingers lie about it. They don't give a shit about hypocrisy. They lie about it all the fucking time. Yeah, but you think Charlie Kirk jokes are hilarious, law, which so do I, law, but that kind of ruins the point. Brother, I have never, ever made it seem as though I was in any way, shape, or form playing civility politics. My most famous moment that has been posterized in the last New York mayoral race was saying America deserved 9/11. The fuck are you talking about? For me, what matters a lot more is your worldview, your policies, what you think responsible governance looks like, how we improve people's lives. There's never been a moment where I've been like, oh, wow, we just gotta, gotta really reconsider this shit. Bug Snacks DLC King? No, we're gonna do Socialismus in a second.
But before it ends, it happens. And it's what happens in that happening that I'm here to uncover. Hop on board, folks. TikTok got banned. The FDA said Zyn is good for getting off cigarettes or getting on Zyn, if you're cool. Hindenburg went down again. Joe Biden gave a farewell speech mumbling some shit about a U.S. oligarchy or something. New prez who launched a meme coin. McDonald's ended its DEI programs. Amazon ended its DEI programs. Meta ended its DEI program.
Yeah, big fucking DEI. The death of DEI, dude. Laura Loomer tweeted about you but deleted. Wait, for real? I just ate dog food. Is human grade? Oh, you're fucking with me because I had the little donut. Yeah, Laura Loomer did eat actual dog food. I took a little bite out of a fucking donut.
Target ended its DEI programs. Zuck on Rogue. TikTok came back. Justin Trudeau's got better things going on. Trump pardoned the Silk Road guy. Wildfires in LA. Plane crash in DC. DeepSeek did AI and everyone freaked the fuck out. Trump started doing a little terrafin. The Mavericks committed white genocide. Birds got the flu and... started doing a little terrafin. The Mavericks committed white genocide.
Also Israel. Also Miriam Adelson. I'm just saying it. Fucking Miriam Adelson.
Birds got the flu and eggs got the expensive. The Eagles beat the Chiefs on Tubi. Trump said the U.S. is gonna take over Gaza and that he's finally going to be the one to end the carried interest loophole this time. The electric car company named after Nikola Tesla filed for bankruptcy. Amazon surpassed Walmart in revenue for the first time, and they bought James Bond from the Broccoli family. Plane flip. Nike and Kim Kardashian are totally hooking up, while Ye used a Super Bowl ad to sell swastika t-shirts. Elon asked government employees what they're doing for...
Bro, I forgot about that. That was so crazy. Dude, what was bro on, dude? I mean, the way things are going in American culture, he kind of was a fucking visionary in that front too. Like, not just on some, like, I mean, he barely was anti-Israel. He was just mostly fucking anti-Semitic and pro-Hitler. But nitrous oxide, true, he was on nitrous. He really was breaking the boundaries ahead of time. He was just too early to the game. He was on nothing. That's the problem.
Work, and female government employees what they're doing after. Also, while cutting a bunch of government agencies and laying off a bunch of workers, and beefing with Sam Altman, and trying and failing to buy OpenAI. Pepsi bought Poppy. A man won $50 million the old-fashioned way, suing Starbucks after getting burnt by his tea. The company finally landed on the moon. Canada elected a new head Canadian. Consumers were sad about the economy. But cheer up, guys. A company landed on the moon. BlackRock bought parts of the Panama Canal. The military runs on a group chat. A Saudi Arabian company bought Pokemon Go. OpenAI chips were melted by rampant studio giblification. You can buy your DoorDash now and pay for it later. Hooters filed for bankruptcy. 3,000 billionaires. Cory Booker spoke for 25 hours straight, beating a record set by my wife. Eric Adams officially did nothing wrong. Liberation Day. Time to freak out. Kevin Bacon said it sucked to lose money to Bernie Madoff. Weight Watchers went bankrupt. A judge said Google is an advertising monopoly. Trump started beefing with all the schools that rejected you. Katy Perry went to space. Stephen A. Smith started talking about running for president. And so the Pope died. Chipotle wants to expand to Mexico. Sam Altman.
The Pope didn't die. The Pope was killed by J.D. Vance, allegedly.
Wants to scan your eyes. The Minecraft movie made $800 million. The Kohl's CEO is fired for funneling business to his romantic partner, but who among us hasn't funneled their partner? GTA 6 got delayed. Labubu. Real ID. New Pope. Warren G. Buffett announced his retirement. Moody's downgraded the U.S.'s credit score. Guess what? Elon Musk made a town. Private equity bought Skechers. Rock got obsessed with white genocide. North Koreans started taking American jobs. Max, formerly HBO Max, is now HBO Max, formerly Max. An Italian businessman got kidnapped and held at chainsaw point so he would give up his crypto password. Trump Gold Card. College athletes can start making bank. Meta AI employees can start making bank. With plans to revolutionize their products, Apple instead chose to come out with something called liquid glass. Trump and the army invited everyone to their humid birthday parade. Ice in LA. Trump Gold Share. Kraft Heinz removed artificial dye from products like Jell-O, and I am wondering what other ingredients there were. The U.S. bombed Iranian nuclear sites. Oklahoma City won the basketball championship with the help of a Canadian man. Finally, someone had a tasteful, low-key Italian wedding. Paramount paid Trump for a 60 Minutes lawsuit. Oh, look at these two. Foot fetishers wept. You can Venmo the government if you want. Trump and J-Pal hard hat spat. Skydance acquired Paramount, marking the biggest media deal of the year. The viral tea app came out where all the ladies could get the tea on the men that they've been seeing. Until hackers dumped all the website's data out in public and probably bought us another decade until the gender wars. Hospitals struggled after getting bought out by PE. Or so I'm told. I was too busy watching Figma's rockin' stock price. A weak jobs report came one guy weaker after Trump fired the BLS boss. RFK cuts mRNA vaccine contracts. Some people might still be paying for last year's Coachella. Claire's went bankrupt. The National Guard went to D.C. A lot of people aren't boozing. Americans had another constitutional right stripped from us when we were asked to not bet on the Little League World Series. The White House took a $10 billion stake in Intel. Cracker Barrel white genocide. Spirit Airlines went bankrupt. Trump crypto money up big time. Kraft Heinz is splitting in half, just like that baby in the Bible. The U.S. developed a concerning fetish for bombing boats. Gold prices up big time. Klarna IPO. Charlie Kirk died. Larry Ellison, richest person for a little bit. Kimmel off air. Government shutdown. Rite Aid shutdown. AI circle jerk. AI layoffs. AI friend. Louvre heist. Amazon outage. Betting scandals. JP Morgan building. Rate cut. Household debt and car repos went up. GTA 6 got delayed again. Peel bet $100 million in the New York City election. And this guy won, which isn't surprising. He's clearly best friends with the president. Elon secured a $1 trillion bag. The Big Short guy is now a big Substack guy. And Meta isn't a monopoly, apparently. Private credit? Cracked. Doge? Dead. The penny? Dead. The lowly soybean? Trapped in the crossfire of the U.S.-China trade wars. Epstein photo dump.
When you put it like that, kind of a shit year, huh?
Bitcoin bombs. OpenAI goes code red. Zuckerberg puts the brakes on the metaverse. Kalshi partnered with the news. Netflix makes Warner Bros their Warner bitches. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and American Secretary of Attention Katy Perry got linked up. Flop. Australia bans Instagram and other social media for children under 16. World Dart Championship. That robot vacuum company sucks. Trump sued the BBC for $10 billion. And it's Battle of the Kevins for the next Fed chair. Truly, these last 12 months...
Bro. And the end of the year brought us the disbandment of Faze. Only a month, not even an entire month after Phase 1 Org of the Year. So much shit happened, dude.
Have been a year. And it's been an honor to have reported alongside you throughout. So for the good of you, me, and work, I'm Dan Toomey.
Dude, American Century of Humiliation Year 1? No, we're in the... I think we're already in the American Century of Humiliation. We've been in it, but I think it's eventually going to become impossible to deny, and then it's over. Back in the day, empires took 200 years to decline and like fully die. Like the Roman Empire took like even longer than that, right? It's gotten far, far faster for major empires to fall apart because of the internet. Because of the internet, you're not like information isn't traveling. The information isn't traveling by horse anymore. It's not traveling by ships. It's traveling in real time. So when certain parts of the empire is unstable, when when all of these empires inevitably over leverage and or overextend and find themselves in an impossible situation where they're holding out to every aspect and edges start chipping away, the speed of the collapse is greatly improved.